Leaving from Miami for a Rhine River cruise. The plane stops in London, then continues on to Basel, Switzerland. In Basel, getting around is easy. We have 3 days on our own, and I'll show you some of the sights we've seen. This view is right from our hotel room. Our first look at the Rhine River. Little did we know how high the water was at this time. The water actually was a little discolored because of the continuous rain they had lately. Being high, we did not know that the locks could not open, which will end up changing our river cruise to a bus tour. The next day, we took a walk and we were stopped by a parade. It was all the different nationalities in Basel marching about solidarity. The march stopped at City Hall, and then they had a cookout, which Sue and I joined and tried all the local dishes, which was delicious. They also had a stage set up and some local music being played where they had the small cookout. In Switzerland, food is very expensive. That night for dinner, we had the specialty cheese fondue. It was great, but it cost $100 for the both of us. We also looked at Burger King. The Whopper meal was over $15. It's actually 5 o'clock, but I couldn't get the video going quick enough. There's Sue walking up with an umbrella, as you can see. I put this video in to show you the courtyard or the square around the cathedral. There's homes around it, or maybe where priests lived, and some restaurants and different shops. This cathedral was originally Catholic. Then after the war came and they had to rebuild it, it's Protestant right now. When you visit one site, you just jumped on the trolley. It was very easy, and go to the next site you're looking for. Here's what the trolley view looked like. pretty quickly to get on, as you could see. Next picture are two of the gates in Basel, the remains of the city wall. Third day in Boswell, we went to meet the ship, which was not there. There was a representative that said we had to take a 30-minute ride to meet the ship. You could see how the water was. It could not get through. The water's too high to row your boat today.
And ladies and gentlemen, just another piece of information. Because Gate 1 and the actual catering company for the ship are two separate entities in a firm and stable relation.
Good pastry no matter where you go. Look at them pretzels. Breisach. This city goes back 4,000 years. It was mostly destroyed in World War II. The Gothic cathedral is very old also, and it has some frescoes on the wall that we seen in very poor shape. And the carvings in the church were outstanding. Still in Breisach, it shows the scale of justice as we're walking through the city. The photo of the picture of the Scales of Justice building is the way it used to look. Strasbourg. Had a very nice day walking around, seeing how the houses are built on the canals. There were plenty of shops to see. We tried, for lunch, we had the local dish, which was fantastic. And I tried all the pastry. Also, I think it was the best ice cream I ever had. In Strasbourg, I asked Sue to get her portrait painted. She ended up being a good sport, and she did it. Didn't come out too bad. Hopefully this artist becomes very famous and will make a fortune. They also had an old Gothic cathedral shown in the pictures coming up.
Canada.
And in France, in fact, all the French cathedrals are Notre Dame. It's not known. Usually you know Notre Dame de Paris, so Paris, but all the cathedrals are Notre Dame just because there is
This is an astronomical clock that was in the cathedral.
Super, on a la place de l'eau. Wir haben jetzt den besten Platz, weil die Kollegin geht weg. Genau, weil der neue Platz, was geht. Wir haben jetzt den besten Platz, weil die Kollegin geht jetzt gleich weg.
We were bused to Strasbourg due to high waters. The ship couldn't get through the lock, but they were hoping to get through later and meet us in Strasbourg. That did happen, but it was the last day we ever did see the ship. No one on board when we were in town could find a bathroom. So take a look how quick they needed to get back on the ship. Cologne. The building you're looking at, that's not a clock, it's the height of the water in the river. It's the capital of the Rhineland. It has a Gothic cathedral, very colorful buildings, and the custom is to get married in front of City Hall. We happened to be walking by City Hall when someone was getting married. Look at the size of this cathedral. The single piece coming up is the exact size of the piece that's on top of the church. And it looks like a dot when you look up, but it's quite large when you see it ground level. Here's a shower of one of the hotels they put us up in, all electric. It was kind of cool. The gardens in Amsterdam are gorgeous. They're known for their tulips, and many of the tulips varieties are as big as your fist. I never seen them so large. All kinds of varieties, some have points on them, all different colors. Very impressive sight. I wonder if you could guess the tune that's being played on this video. Next day, Brussels. The statue you see is from their expo. It represents an atom, the only thing left from the expo. Old Gothic church. In one area, they converted their old buildings into a shopping mall. This is a picture of it. Here's one of the streets you could shop on. Plus, it leads to a fantastic square where there's all restaurants, more shopping. Just beautiful. Belgian waffles, they were fantastic. Also, Later on, we had a sandwich made with waffles. Just as good. How they put the waffles together and the ingredients in the waffle for the sandwich was fantastic. Bruges, very nice small town. There was a marathon going on and the bus couldn't get through, so we missed a statue of the Madonna that Michelangelo did by 5 minutes. The beautiful square there with plenty of restaurants, which we ate there later in the evening. At first we went for a boat ride through all the canals and got a different perspective of the architecture of all the buildings from the boat. The boat ride came at the right time. It was very relaxing, perfect day, not too sunny, and Bruges was a very nice small town to walk around in and go through the canals in the boat. This is the courtyard where we ate. It was a great view from our dinner table. They had rabbit on the menu, cooked in beer. My mother used to make it cooked in wine sauce. I couldn't resist. It was fantastic. Paris. This is our second trip to Paris. We've seen the Eiffel Tower once again, and we've seen the Museum of Paris once again. We also seen the monument that Egypt sent from Luxor to Paris as a gift. That was a little extra special, seeing we were in Luxor last year. This is the Sacred Heart Church in France. Quite a view from the top also. Then on the bottom, nearby, Sue went to the fabric district. All kinds of fabrics. Red, white, blue, turquoise, you name it, they had it. Cotton, wool, silk, anything you wanted, all kinds of fabrics. After seeing all that fabric, it's time to eat. We had a 3-course meal. It started off with mussels. We each received a pot of mussels, and then our dinner. It was great. This time in Paris, we went to Versailles, King Louis' castle. Very impressive building. Gold leaf on the building. The ceilings were heavily painted with portraits. The walls were heavily painted with portraits. The hallways had mirrors on them with many paintings. The doorways were all sculpted with some type of designs on them. It was a very impressive building. This is where the French Revolution started, also where Marie Antoinette tried to escape the monarchy and later beheaded. We were glad we chose to go to this site. It also had a small backyard. This is just to show you how the restaurants are set up in Paris. Outside eating all over. shots from the bus shows you the Eiffel Tower towering over everything in Paris. Okay, vacation's over. We never did sail 1 inch on the Rhine River. We still had a great time. We seen a lot of things. And there's Sue waiting at the airport to go home. There's a few shots from the airplane, and one at the end you may be able to see the Eye of London. Hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it because it reminds me of all the things we did on the trip.